Are angels real, or are they just made up in stories and pictures? Today, we're going to talk about the idea of angels, not just as pretty pictures, but as powerful beings from heaven who have had a direct effect on the history of people. The scriptures only hint at the stories of these beings, but they are heavenly agents whose jobs determine our fate. Get ready to learn something about the spiritual world that could change the way you see things forever. If you think you know everything about angels, get ready to be shown how wrong you are. The news we have for you is so amazing that we promise you will pay full attention to it all the way through. What are the angels that the Bible talks about? Contrary to what most people think, the Bible only talks about a few angels. Each one has a specific job as a servant of God, a guardian of people, or an administrator of God's will. They are angels, which are the souls of people who have died. This is a very common misunderstanding that is not supported by the Bible. Angels are beings that God made before humans existed. They have their own spirit and purpose that are very different from human nature. To go into more detail, angels are beings from heaven who have amazing powers and duties. In contrast to people, angels do not die or have children. They exist to carry out God's commands. There are different groups of these beings, like seraphim and cherubim, that do different jobs in heaven. In stories about the heavens there are many angels, but the Bible only names 4. These are Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Lucifer, who is unfortunately known for being evil. This part looks at each of those angels, their lives, and what we can learn from them. The story of Lucifer, who is called the bearer of light, shows how an angel can turn against his creator. His story is one of desire and disobedience that ends with him being kicked out of heaven. There was a time when Lucifer was very beautiful and powerful, but now he stands for disobedience and evil. In conclusion, angels are not just made-up stories. They are very important to the way that God and humans deal with each other. Knowing what angels are really like helps us understand how complicated God's plan is and how the heavens affect our daily lives. Now that you know some of the most common myths about angels are false, we want you to think about how this new knowledge changes the way you see the spiritual world and your own faith. As a matter of fact, angels are messages from a deeper and more organized world. They connect people to God. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you to come along with us on our adventure. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our experimental movies. We are always learning new things together, and having you with us makes the journey even better. Continuing with the story. After learning more about the secrets of angels, we now move on to Lucifer, who is a key figure in many theological talks. At first, Lucifer was an unmatched work of art, filled with all kinds of beauty and knowledge. The prophet Ezekiel called him the seal of perfection, and he had a set of valuable stones on his body that showed how great his maker was. The Creator made this chosen cherub perfect from the moment he was born, so that he would mirror the beauty of the Creator. But he was very proud of himself, and his drive made him want a place higher than what God had given him, as his strong words show. I will also sit on the north side of the assembly mount. It's going to be like the Most High when I rise above the clouds. Then the figure of Michael the Archangel shows up. He is the chief angel and the celestial fighter. Gabriel is often linked to Lucifer, but Michael is often linked to protecting God's people and the heavenly kingdom. He is more noticeable when there is spiritual strife, like when there are fights in heaven or when he is protecting the faithful on earth. The path that Lucifer is on is very different from that of Michael. Lucifer fell because he was proud and tried to take God's power for himself, but Michael stood strong as the guardian of the throne and the protector of people. Revelation 12 shows Michael leading the army of heaven against Lucifer, who has changed into a dragon, and his unruly followers, who are then kicked out of heaven. One of the most exciting things that happens in the book of Revelation is the fight in heaven. After that, there was a battle in heaven. It was Michael and his angels who fought the dragon. The dragon and his angels later struck, but they lost. This episode shows that good will win in the end, with Michael becoming a figure of justice and power from heaven. In addition to being a fighter, Michael is seen as a guardian angel who watches over and protects God's children, stepping in to help and keep the righteous safe in dangerous situations. In the events that were predicted to happen in the last days, he plays a key part as the great prince who protects the faithful from harm. In other parts of the Bible, like Daniel, Michael is also very important. He helps other angels who are being fought by bad spiritual forces like the Prince of Persia, and makes sure that the prayers of the good are not interrupted. He steps in to make sure that words and divine gifts get to the right people, which shows how powerfully he is able to connect God with people. As we come to the end of our look at Michael and Lucifer, we think about the relationship between order and chaos, between obeying and rebelling in heaven. Michael and Lucifer's stories aren't just about heavenly battles. They're also lessons about duty, power, and the effects of our choices, both in heaven and on earth. As we continue our tour of heavenly stories, we now look at the work of two very important angels, Michael and Gabriel. These figures are not only involved in battles in the heavens, but they also bring very important messages for people on earth. Michael is one of the chief rulers of heaven, and he is very important in many Bible stories. These stories show how strong and in charge Michael is. An angel tells Daniel in Daniel 10 that his prayers have been heard from the start, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia got in the way of the answer. Michael's action made all the difference, showing that he is one of God's main fighters. This episode shows not only the order in which angels are ranked to vary, but also the power and control that Michael has within that order. According to Jude 1:9, Michael was able to help with both spiritual and physical issues. It says that Michael never lost a war and even scolded the devil in the name of the Lord when they were fighting over Moses' body. Although Gabriel is often called an archangel, the Bible does not officially call him that, unlike Michael. Gabriel, on the other hand, stands out as a heavenly messenger. The main thing that Gabriel is known for is bringing words of great joy and importance that set the course of biblical events. The time when he shows up to Zechariah in the temple is very important. Gabriel tells Zechariah that the prophet John the Baptist, who is the forerunner of Jesus, is going to be born soon. He challenges Zechariah's doubts by saying that God's words always come true. Gabriel's role as a direct link between God and people is shown by this meeting. Gabriel brings news that will change the course of many lives. The most famous story about Gabriel, though, is when he goes to see Mary and says words to her that have stuck with people for a very long time. Happy, loved ones, the Lord is with you. This meeting not only sets the stage for Jesus' birth, but it also confirms Gabriel's role as a messenger of divine changes. Michael as a fighter and defender, and Gabriel as a messenger, may seem to have different jobs, but in God's plan, they work together to complete it. Their exchanges and actions show how complicated and beautiful the order of the heavens is. Each angel has a specific job to do that keeps the balance and divine purpose. As this part of our study comes to a close, we think about how these two amazing angels have affected our lives. Michael and Gabriel are more than just strong men who can talk to each other. They are signs that God is always present in people's lives and works through clear rules and structures to accomplish divine goals. Take some time to think about these stories and how angels have helped you in your own life. How can Gabriel's words and Michael's security be a part of your everyday life? What can we learn from the way they served and kept their faith? As our series on angels comes to a close, we return to Gabriel, the holy messenger, whose visits always bring about big changes. Gabriel is a key person in the stories of how Jesus and John the Baptist were conceived. He has a lasting effect on the lives of Joseph, Mary, and Zechariah. He is the only one who can bring news that changes the course of both human and divine history. Every time people meet Gabriel, they feel a sense of awe and respect that makes them afraid. In Luke, Zechariah is worried and Mary is thinking, which shows how serious and holy Gabriel's words were. Even Daniel, who is used to seeing views of the stars, falls to the ground in fear when Gabriel appears. Each message needs the receiver to get over their original fear in order to accept the divine promise. This shows how deeply angels affect people. We are presented to Abaddon, the least known and most mysterious god in the Bible, as our journey comes to a close. The book of Revelation talks about Abaddon, who is also called Apollyon. It says that he is an angel and the leader of a cloud of locusts that comes out of an apocalyptic void. This dark picture is very different from the other angelic tasks we've looked at, adding a destructive element to the heavenly world. Abaddon takes on the part of the destroyer, which shows that he rules over the dark forces of the void. Some people see Abaddon as a being controlled by evil forces. This gives us a more complicated picture of what angels are and how they work in the universe. This verse from Ephesians 6:12 talks about these heavenly forces of evil and makes it sound like Abaddon is one of them. Along their trip, angels bring us messages of hope and news of births, as well as images of war and damage. This difference between Gabriel and Abaddon shows that angels have two different jobs to do. As God wills, some angels are sent to guide and protect, while others are sent to judge or punish. As this study comes to a close, we think about how angels affect how we see faith and God. Being aware of angels is more than just hearing stories about them. It's a way to learn more about the forces that affect our world and our future. In their own ways, Gabriel and Abaddon represent the wide range of actions and goals that can come from heaven. We are asked to think about how spiritual we are and what part unseen forces play in our lives as we study angels. As this series comes to a close, I want you to think about the signs angels send us and how they change the way you see the world and the things you believe. Share what you think and what you find. Which angel has helped you understand things the most? What changes about how you see good and evil, the divine and the mundane? Gabriel, the angel of good news, and Abaddon, the angel of the pit, are two different people. We hope that this episode has given you ideas and information. The world of angels is very big and full of secrets. Each one shows us something different about spiritual life. Keep going on this trip of knowledge, and don't forget to share what you've learned and what you've seen. We can create a community where people can learn and grow spiritually if we work together. Also, if this journey has touched you in any way, please let me know which angel stood out to you the most and why. Also, if you think this movie will make someone's day better, please share it with your family and friends. Let's spread information and make our community of spiritual learners bigger. Don't forget to subscribe to our station if you want to keep going on this trip of discovery. Thank you for following us to the end of this amazing story. May God be with you always. Amen.